What is going on, wonderful people? Today we have got the maxed out 4-3-3, a tactic where every player is going to press and we are taking the tempo to the absolute max. It's an intense system that gets results big time. If you do enjoy the tactics, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Once again today we have got 3 tactics, so do stick around because we have got a normal tactic, a more attacking tactic and a slightly more humble one for the people playing the smaller teams. Let's get into it. Just going to take a couple of seconds of your time to show you what we've done with the first tactic. This is the season we've done with RB Salzburg, the Red Bull brand. 30 wins, 1 draw and 1 loss there. We also are going to win the Austrian FA Cup, and unfortunately Liverpool a little bit too strong on the day. In terms of the data hub, we are going to score 4.25 goals per game, conceded only 0.47 over 25 shots a match and a pass completion of 87.95. Absolute dominance. We also go on to absolutely stampede the league with 136 goals compared to SK Rapid in second with 53. Most shots, fewest shots against, the most dribbles, the fewest conceded and the most clean sheets. Some would say it's the perfect season. I also took this same tactic quickly over with Leeds and tested in the Sky Bet Championship, but we come out and put on a very good season, winning the league, going invincible, winning 43 games and only drawing the other 3, and also lifting the FA Cup, coming in against Manchester United in 7-3 fashion. Now going over to the data hub, it is going to be 4 goals a game still, only 0.67 conceded, over 23 shots every single game and an immaculate pass completion. To go over and actually make this tactic, all you want to do is load in a gegenpress and basically load in a basic 4-3-3, and let's go through and talk tactics. This is going to be the 4-3-3 on your screens from me to you. If you do want to get access to all 3 of these tactics in one very fast download, you want them on mobile, you want them on console, you want everything early, you want access to my rebuild files on my second channel, which you can see there. By the way, go and check that out because there's really good content, and also one-on-one tactical help, access to this month's giveaway, which is £400. You can come over and get involved and join the close to 5,000 people that have come over to the Patreon, where we have got one of the best communities you'll be a part of. Let's go through and build through this tactic then. So we are going to start things off with a sweeper keeper who is simply going to be set to support, and because it's aggression, we are going to go ahead and add on tackle harder when it comes to the instructions. Now going over to both of the wing backs, funny enough they are actually going to be on support, but they are going to have some instructions and they are going to consist of run wide, we're going to have them on close down more, and also tackle harder. Now I can see the comments already. Josh, how do you get close down more? It's not on my screen. Help me. What happens is you go into this and this will not be an option for you. Now what I will say is the way you can fix this is to go into out of possession and have the trigger press in the middle, and that option will become available for you. Make sure you're doing that, and trust me, it will 100% work. When it comes to both of the ball playing defenders, we are going to go ahead and add on some instructions as well. They are going to be set to obviously more often and also tackle harder. These ball playing defenders are going to get absolutely stuck in. They're going to be aggressive, they're going to be incredibly fast paced, and they're going to be an absolute nightmare to deal with. Trust me on that one. Going over to the heart of the midfield, we are going to introduce a DM on support. Again, this is a very attacking tactic, so we're not going to have too many defensive roles in this team if we can help it in this variant of the tactic. We are going to go, of course, and add more often on. We are also going to have tackle harder, so this is going to be a very aggressive DM, so make sure you've got a DM that is very fit, very sort of good when it comes to the stamina and work rate, because he is going to be getting his steps in, so make sure you have got that covered. We're then going to go and add a box-to-box on support, and we are going to have some instructions. I want him getting forwards and actually getting stuck into the game, so we're going to add that on. We are also going to have him on more often when it comes to that wonderful trigger press, and lastly we are of course going to have tackle harder on, because again, aggression. And if anyone wonders why there's Max Verstappen on the thumbnail, you can probably tell I'm quite a big fan, and I thought, do you know what, maxed out, it makes sense. He's aggressive, the tactic's aggressive, let's have some fun. Some people have Marvel tactics. Let's go and have some fun. Get the F1 involved. We are then going to go ahead and introduce a central midfield player on attack. And this is where we are going to get pretty creative and move very aggressive. So the central midfield player is going to be set to roam, move into the channels, close down more, and also tackle harder. So what I love about this player here is we are able to have one of our players in that midfield that is purely based around the attack. Roman, getting into different channels, putting in challenges, creating space, and he does it so well, and I honestly would favour him over a Mazzala on attack. So if you are going to ask the question, Josh, can I use a Mazzala? You could, but if you have got a central midfield player that can attack, I would probably go with him, to be honest. Now, on the left and right flanks, they are both going to be inside forwards, both on attack, funny enough. as the game predicted. But we are going to go over and add some instructions that is going to consist of this obviously being applied and also tackle harder. Not only is that going to be the case for the left, but also the right hand side of the pitch as well. So once again, more often and also tackle harder. Apart from that, pretty basic roles because they have been given obviously 5 by default anyway. And lastly, we're simply going to have a press and forward who naturally is going to close down more anyway. To the team instructions. Again, all built off that custom gegenpress on the positive mentality. This is going to remain in the middle. We're going to pass into the space. We're going to focus down the left and the right because we've got width in this team while playing out from the back. The tempo, well, that's going to go all the way up to higher with a slightly shorter passing directness. We're also going to go ahead and leave it on mixed crosses and add run at defense and also be more expressive. If there's one thing this tactic isn't afraid to do, it's to attack. So that is why it is the way that it is. In transition, we're going to counter press. We're going to counter as well, and we are simply going to take short goal kicks because this way we can go to the centre backs, the playmakers, the fullbacks, the flanks, so many options. And you know what? How aggressive we are, get the ball moving and get it long because we want to go and score goals, goals, goals. Out of possession, we are going to have a little bit of a different way. We're going to go with the high press and line, the higher line, not the much higher line on this occasion. Step up more, get stuck in, prevent short goalkeeper distribution and a maxed out trigger press because it's a high-intensity tactic. What else would it be? We then went over and made a slightly more attacking variant, which we used with Liverpool. As you can see, we enjoyed a remarkable season, winning the Premier League incredibly comfortably there with 101 points. Runners-up in the Champions League and winners of the Carabao Cup 5-0 against Newcastle. All done while enjoying 4 goals a game, 0.42 conceded, 25.18 shots per game, and a pass completion of 87.96. Now, you might be saying, Josh, this scored less than the default one. It did, but it was with a harder league, you know, Salzburg in the Championship, for example, Salzburg of the Austrian League, a bit easier, Leeds of the Championship, a dominant sort of team in that division in the game anyway. The Premier League is tough, and we still managed to get 4 goals per game, but if you are playing as a strong team like Liverpool, any team in the top 4, in a hard league this is purely tailored to, I would definitely use this tactic we're now about to break down. And that would be this one. Again, it is going to look somewhat similar because we are still going to have every player really getting stuck in. The goalkeeper remains the same, as does both of the ball-playing defenders, both on defend, both on close down and tackle harder. The wing-backs now on a lot of instructions on the left, and the right is a little bit different, but still somewhat similar. So on the right, take more risks, cross more, run wide, stay wider, close down more, and tackle harder. And on the left, we're going to have another wing back on attack on take more risks, cross more often, dribble more, run wides, stay wide, close down more, and tackle harder. Still not losing that close down more. The DM remains the same, the box to box, it remains exactly the same, so get further forwards, close down, and tackle harder. The midfield player remains exactly the same. The inside forwards, exactly the same, and the press and forward, also exactly the same. I'm going to be a little bit more out there. You could add shoot more often on the inside forwards. The team instructions, again, the gegenpress, this time set to attacking. We are going to leave this bang on in the middle. For you, it will be saying fairly wide, but I do display these tactics on a clean slate to show you in the video. We're going to pass into the space, overlap left, overlap right, get their wing backs involved right now. We're going to focus down the left and the right hand side of the pitch while playing out from the back. This we keep in the middle. The tempo, of course, is going to be maxed out. We're going to run at defense and also set to be more expressive. Over into the transition, we are going to counter press, what is going on there? Counter, distribute quickly, and also take short goal kicks. And lastly, out of possession, we are going to go with the high pressing line of engagement, the much higher defensive line. We're going to max out this press, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, get stuck in, and also step up more when it comes to that defensive line. And that's going to give you a much more attack and varied option to the 4-3-3. Of course, we have got one more tactic to go and show you what we've done with. This is perfect for an underdog team, or if you're trying to defend your games out with. And it actually looks a little bit like this, so it is going to change a fair bit. We actually went over and tested with RB Leipzig because they're not a real powerhouse in the division, and we've come out and actually won the treble. We win the Champions League against Liverpool. The Pokal we go over and win as well, 6-1 over Frankfurt, and we batter the Bundesliga with Sesko scoring 51 goals. So if you are playing a sort of not a real low-down team, but sort of mid-table to a low-down team, you could do it. I know RB Leipzig are not like a relegation side, for example, but they're not a Bayern, they're not a Dortmund, not a Leverkusen in this game, especially with the transfers. So what I will say is this is done incredibly well. And if you are playing as a team that might not have as much firepower, use this one. And it looks a little bit like this. So the goalkeeper does remain exactly the same. Both of the ball-playing defenders also remain the same. The wing-backs are going to take a little bit of a change-up, as they are going to be now on defend, still on close down and tackle harder, because that is the core principles of this tactic. The DM on defend, on close down more and tackle harder. So again, a little change. The box-to-box, not getting forwards, but still on close down and also tackle harder. The centre midfield player on support. Again, he's now taken up that role of just passing the ball side to side, being sensible, but he is still going to be pressing, closing down more, tackling harder, moving into the channels, roam from position, shoot less, dribble less, take fewer risks, and pass it shorter. The inside forward on the right and the left are both now on close down more and tackle harder, still on support. And the press and forward, well, he remains unchanged for every single variant. Gegenpress, this time on balance, we are going to leave it on standard, bang on in the middle. We're going to pass into the space. We're going to focus down the left and the right hand side of the pitch while playing out from the back. We're going to run at defence. This is where we are going to change a few things. This does remain the same, but if you've got my set pieces, play for them, because you'll score tons of goals, and also have that on in the other tactics as well. And if you're going into a game with this tactic, don't do this, but if you're using this tactic to defend a game out with, you can also add time wasting on. I'll leave it on sometimes, but if you are going into a game with it, you don't want to time waste literally from minute 1. In transition, we are going to counter press. We're still going to counter because that is the DNA of the system. We're going to slow the pace down, and we're going to be a little bit more risk-free when it comes to distribution. We're going to play it to anyone across the back line while simply rolling the ball out. And lastly, out of possession, that standard defensive line, the high pressing line of engagement, much more often prevent short goalkeeper distribution, step up more, and also get stuck in. And that's going to give you boys and girls 3 incredible, high tempo, maxed out 4-3-3s that performed across every league we tested in. Again, if you want to get access to all 3 of these tactics, my rebuild files, console tactics, mobile tactics, massive giveaways, and so much more, you can come over and show some love to me in the Patreon as well, where also we have big group chats going on, so come over and say hello. If you have enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We've got another tactic in 2 days. We're absolutely cooking. We ain't slowing down for the rest of FM24. We're here to stay. I'll see you in the next one.